Welcome to Season 3, Episode 15 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Come and let us gingerly touch our tips.
That is a good one. I'm assuming you enjoyed almost every one of his ridiculous lines in this movie.
Joe Latrulia?
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah?
not everyone, but he's good. I mean,
I always enjoyed the rub-a-dub-tub as he laughs and walks away.
No, he's great. I got no qualms about anybody in this movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah. So we
watched Role Models.
Yeah, we saw Role Models, which I believe is your pick.
It is.
Yeah.
You got two co-workers.
Yeah.
Danny and Wheeler. Danny is going through a mopey, depressed stretch, and he's taking it on the world, and eventually has a bad day, and everything boils over, and he gets him and Wheeler into some hot water with the law. So to make up for their troubles, they have to volunteer at a Big Brother type organization.
Yeah. Sturdy wings.
That's right. And hilarity ensues, as we like to say here.
Hilarity ensues, yes. Well put, sir.
Tim, how many times have you watched this movie?
I watched it a lot. This was a movie that I pretty early on was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna buy that movie. I'm gonna own it. I thought that was pretty funny. And then it shockingly became a movie that was a pretty easy go-to thing for me to throw on with whoever or whatever, people over hanging out, whatever. It was a pretty big crowd-pleasing movie. So yeah, I've always really dug this movie right from the beginning. And I was really floored when I saw recent posts about it, not being a movie that holds up. And I was I strongly disagree.
Oh, I did not see this post.
Yeah.
But I would also strongly disagree.
Yeah.
I was always a little touched that you said that Paul Rudd's character reminded you of me. Specifically in the Starbucks scene where he's being a little shit to the cashier. I'm like, oh, thanks, brother. That's not great. But I'm going to concentrate on you. I reminded you of Paul Rudd, the ageless vampire.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Take that. Sure. Being a dickish dick. So speaking of our dickish dick, that is our main hero. There's really two, but he is the main one. I think it mostly revolves around Danny. We don't get a last name. It's Danny. He, I think, is our most central hero. He's a miserable dick in a rut.
Yeah, he's in his mid-30s, and he's definitely turned into a toxic, cynical bummer. He hates his job, giving anti-drug speeches and promoting Minotaur energy drinks to schools. He just can't seem to find the joy in anything. He loves his girlfriend, Beth, but the thing he loves the most about her is her hating everything that he does.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fucked up.
It really is.
It's probably why she leaves him.
Yeah. I mean, you it's really easy to kind of get her perspective, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. And over the course of working with his court-appointed mentee, Augie, he starts breaking out of his funk. Once Danny recognizes that Augie looks up to him and likes him for him, Danny starts to care for him too, and this seems to be the key to him finding joy in life again. Yeah.
And I think, too, he almost sees, some similarity bond of, this kid's life's not great either. And I think he starts to feel for him in that way. It's oh, wow, he literally says the line at one point, I thought my life sucks.
Right.
This sucks. And yeah, you're right. I think it definitely is something that breaks him out. And that's kind of the real progression forward for his character.
Yeah, I think it was that moment when they're camping together and he sees that he's making him sigil for him.
Yeah, low blow. Now I have to take it.
Yeah. It's just he's just completely won him over despite him intently disliking him. It's God damn it.
Yeah.
It's just sweet.
Yeah, and then when he meets the mom and the stepdad too, I think that's another moment of him being like,
Yeah, puts it over the top.
yeah, man, all right. And that's kind of like the first time where he really starts to like fight for things. Yeah, and he starts to kind of like, as much as I don't like this and I don't want to do this, like, I'm going to break out of my shell here and start to do things that are not necessarily in my wheelhouse. And it kind of goes from there throughout the rest of the movie, whether it's him finally dressing up that he always refused throughout the whole movie, or he's going to put himself out there and like sing in front of people, which is like very, opposite of the beginning of the movie where he refused.
Anything that puts him out there where he might look stupid, he just absolutely refuses to do. And by the end of this movie, he's completely reversed on that. Or he's like, it's fine, especially if it's for love,
Right. And it's for other people and people he cares about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a real arc with him.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And then and for the other character, Anson Wheeler, played by Sean William Scott.
Yeah.
He's a fuckboy Kiss fan that loves his job dressing in a Minotaur costume and cheering Danny on during speeches.
Yeah, he's like the complete opposite. He like loves his life of no responsibility. Like he loves his job because he literally has to basically do nothing.
Just get slayed and have fun.
Yeah. And so he is the one that has like no responsibility. He wants to keep it as close to that as possible.
Right. And I can't believe the dude owns like a Kiss pinball machine in that tiny ass apartment he has.
Yeah.
That's using up really just important real estate there, man. But working with his mentee Ronnie, he learns to care about someone besides himself.
Yeah.
And someone he's not trying to screw.
Right, yeah.
It's a thin character, but you can actually track and understand why Wheeler gives a shit about someone else better, I think, than you can Danny at first blush.
Yeah, I guess so.
Danny, it took me like a couple of like, did I really? It's more subtle with Danny. It's more obvious with Wheeler.
I think the biggest issue you have with them is they do have this thing where like Wheeler's like, you're my friend. Like from the beginning, like you're my friend and you're like my best friend. And Danny's like, absolutely not. I work with this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they go through this like, up and down where they go, they have their tiffs back and forth, but then eventually it's like, yeah, way to go, Danny. Now you have no friends. And then Danny comes to him, asks for help, but like you don't really. I guess maybe because he helped him out in the battle was like the final like, okay, I guess this guy's my friend. He came to my help when I needed it, and then he jumped too. So I guess we were friends. I think that's what it was. I think that's like a little the weakest thing. Like their realization that they really are friends is probably the weakest part of things.
Yeah, I you know what? I think if we hadn't been able to track his progression with Augie,
right?
His come to Jesus moment with Wheeler would have made zero sense at all. But I think he's just in that place now where he's just like, yeah, this guy is my friend,
Yeah.
But yeah, Sean William Scott is really good in this movie, and I don't understand why Hollywood just like kind of kicked him to the side of the curb.
Do you think it was Bulletproof Monk?
No, this is after Bulletproof Monk.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I guess maybe there was a slight worry of him getting like typecasted, basically, because it seems to be like these kind of roles and Stifler and stuff like that is where he is his strongest. Although, hey, how about that? The Rundown.
Yeah, Rundown.
That was good.
Goon. He's playing a completely different character in Goon.
You're right. Very different character in that movie. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer that he didn't get more opportunities.
Yeah, hopefully things turn around because I like Sean William Scott and
I agree.
Capable of more. I don't want to get into any more with these guys because there's a lot of funny in this movie. We got a lot to do.
Yeah, it's a lot in hilarity.
But I gave these guys a 3.5.
Oh, I went 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think we had similar reasons for holdbacks, but yeah, you docked it a little bit more than me. It's all right.
Yeah.
There's so much hilarity that I didn't even categorize it. I just kept it within the notes. But the first thing I just want to say is, taste the beast.
There you go. The Minotaur truck.
It cracks me up every time.
Every time it parks, it shouts, taste the beast. Like, oh my God.
Even at the end where somehow they're both fired from this company, yet they still have the code and everything to go and get the truck to bring it into that ending battle.
Yeah,
And the flames go and you get the taste the beast part. And I was like, none of this really makes sense, but that's amazing. And I love it.
Well, how about first off, you get Wheeler just pulling up to work at the very beginning of the movie.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he goes over to Danny, like, guess what I did last night? And he puts his finger up to Danny. He says, like, ah.
Yeah. And he sniffs and he goes, And he's like, it smells good to me.
And a punk kid at one of the schools, Danny Wheeler visit, like tries to make fun of Wheeler's Minotaur, call him a gay cow.
Oh, yeah.
And Danny's like, oh, it's not a cow. It's a creature of myth. And he got it out of your mom's closet. She let me keep it after I fucked her.
Yeah. Was that after they have to go pee so badly?
You know what? I don't know. That montage of them going to every school. But
Yeah.
Pissing green because of all the
pissing,
energy
it's like
drinks.
Shrek's piss.
Yeah.
And I love too. I think it's not in the same scene, but it's like when he's like, I think bashing what they do. It's like we sell nuclear horse piss to children and charge like $8 a pop or whatever.
$6 a can.
Yeah, it's a great line delivery there.
So even in the montage too, you get the Danny doing all these anti-drug speeches, and then they're at lunch together, and Wheeler's like offering him a joint.
Yeah.
And then they're just like chatting in the car, and Wheeler puts on Kiss. It's like,
Oh yeah.
Danny's like, ugh, no one loves Kiss. Paul Stanley is sick of Kiss. Don't miss the Star Child. And he's like, don't get me wrong. I like to rock and roll all night and part of every day. It's party every day. No, I have errands. I can rock and roll part of every day, like 1 to 3.
1 to 3, yeah.
And then you have the infamous Starbucks. Well, it's not really actually Starbucks. I don't know what they call the place.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent. It's basically.
Danny goes up and he orders a large black coffee.
Yeah.
Do you mean venti? No, I mean a large. Venti is large. No, venti is 20. Large is large. In fact, tall is large. And grande is Spanish. And Spanish is large. Venti is the only one that doesn't mean large. It's also the only one that's Italian. Congratulations, you're stupid in 3 languages.
That's the kind of stuff that reminded me of you a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
that's,
I know.
That, it's that, like...
Where Danny is at his most dickish, like, that reminds me of my big brother. Cool.
Well, I'm going to point out complete facts for you and totally make you feel like an ass for it.
Hey,
It's a skill you have.
facts don't care about your feelings.
It's great. And I love, too, where... the scene kind of continues where where she starts to go after him about him being a miserable dick in a rut kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, and then you got mad about the whatever lady. She said ASAP. Who cares? Like, I love how it's like,
I hate that. You hate that too. But her final kiss-off line is, oh, by the way, venti is 20, as in 20 ounces.
Yeah.
And then she's like,
He looks
is
around.
that true?
Yeah. Like, oh, she got me there. Like,
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, and I think even later in the movie, it's like it's 20 ounces, and I love that, or something like I got a venti, and I love it. Was in their coffee date later, which was fun too.
And then you got him. He's back in the car with Wheeler, and he's having like a huge crisis of faith because of she broke up with him.
Yeah,
and he's just like, we sell poison to kids. And Wheeler's like, it's not poison.
It's got juice in it. It's a line that I feel like only someone like him can pull off too.
It's a very Simpsons like. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, do you have any fruit? This donut has purple in it. Purple's a fruit.
And I love when he's
like
like, even when he's like, okay, we're making a detour, and he goes, what? Why? And it's such a Sean William Scott delivery. The way he does that is so good. I can't even duplicate it. Game face, dude.
Yeah. Well, so Danny has a freak out and in the school, and then even worse when he sees the truck is getting towed.
Well, I thought some of the stuff when he goes into Beth was a little funny.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Just, for the point of brevity, I was trying to.
I understood, but it was like I kind of wanted to bring it up because it was like one of the few times where,
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks actually got to be funny. Because there wasn't a whole lot that she was able to be funny in it. Yeah. Not that she was bad, but like she just didn't have any real reps to do it, like opportunities to do it. So I thought this was like her one moment where she was able to. So she's like she has this client who's like incredible.
Beth is a lawyer.
Yeah, Beth's a lawyer, and this guy stole a bunch of TVs, and he's caught on tape stealing a bunch of TVs. And so her interactions with
That's not me.
Yeah. And like she gives this like look of like come on, like and then you know, I'm with my client who's guilty, like allegedly or whatever. And like that whole interaction I thought was pretty funny when the breakup happens. And then I also like the delivery of like, are you breaking up with me? And she's like, yeah, like this day sucks. He just walks out. Like I like that moment too.
So, yeah, he doesn't take it well. He freaks out at his next job at the school.
Let's get married. I don't have a ring.
And then the truck is getting towed after they leave. And Danny's just like in true, like, fuck that mode. And tries to, like, drive away from the tow truck.
While it's still attached, yeah.
Yeah. And it's juvenile, but I gotta admit that the
which is crazy is Wheeler just goes with it and hops in the car with him.
True wingman.
Yeah.
But like, it's juvenile, but I gotta admit, like the Minotaur truck mounting the horse statue.
Oh yeah, and I think doesn't it go taste the beast again?
Yeah.
That moment.
It is funny. I can't.
It's just funny. It is. It is.
So yeah, they're both in deep trouble for that. Yeah. And they're in Beth's office trying to figure out what to do. And Wheeler's like, did I ever tell you you're a dick? Yeah. Earlier.
Yeah.
Poor Wheeler really does get screwed.
He really does. I'm a party too, not the party. They suspended your license. Did you know that? Yeah. Kind of figured they would.
So they have to go to Sturdy Wings, the judge's favorite charity, and as a stay out of jail. Otherwise, they have to do like 30 days in jail. Yeah. And they're sitting there watching the orientation video for Sturdy Wings.
Yeah.
And just people ask me, Gail, how did you come up with such a life-altering program? And I tell them, I spent a lot of time alone as a kid. My father was a traveling salesman, and my mother, out of necessity, was a whore.
It's so like nonchalant, matter of fact.
Gail Sweeney, what a character. And then you got the rando at the orientation.
I used to be addicted to pills. Now I'm addicted to helping.
That's.
I already prefer jail.
This rando at the orientation is saying, "Hey, first time at the program," and Danny's like beyond miserable and annoyed and wants none of this cheerful. Oh God, really?
Switch with me,
Wheeler. Switch with me. No way, dude.
And then the wings joke that keeps on giving.
I don't even know what to do with that one. But yeah,
I thought it was funny. It's like no, that's not a Wings song. No.
Honestly, I know like 2 Wing songs. If you like put a gun to my head and told me if something's a Wing song, I'd be in so much trouble.
Yeah.
Love Sir Paul, but no, Wings was never my jam.
I agree.
And then so Gail comes over and has like a little like, I don't know, tough talk with Danny and Wheeler.
Well, I love to is like, I can't go to jail, Danny. I got to get raped in jail. And then she comes over to say hello or whatever and introduce herself. It's like, you probably heard that out of context. What do you mean? When I asked my friend Danny if he wanted to get raped? It's just so funny.
I love like when she's like trying to talk tough or whatever, and then Danny's like, "Why did you put presents in quotes? Are you implying we're not here?"
Yeah. Did MC Hammer go to jail? Well, he did. Well, implied he might have gone to jail. Whatever. That was pretty funny too.
So they get introduced to so they are now bigs, and they have the littles, their mentees. Wheeler's first time meeting Ronnie is really great.
It's great.
He's like, "What up, Ronnie? Good to meet you. What you drawing there?" And Ronnie's drawing is like 2 stick figures, one with huge tits and one with a giant dick.
Yeah.
And the caption is Beyonce pouring sugar on my dick. This kid's like 10 years old. It's awesome. I love Ronnie.
Steals almost every scene he's in for the first half of the movie. It's really until the post-camping trip is where it starts to go downhill. Basically, when they become buddies is where he's no longer because he's at his best when he's saying awful mean things to people, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like where he calls him a honky, and he goes, "Honky? That's racist."
No, the fact that like Wheeler is like in such shock and is like quietly says it, honky,
yeah,
that's racist. But yeah, like Ronnie's like just starts randomly shouting, "I don't want to take my pants off."
Yeah.
Yeah, just calls him a honky. He's like, honky, that's racist.
Well, I think that's what like. Not only is this kid like just killing it with his outbursts of what he's saying and everything, but also it's a Sean William Scott just completely panic selling it.
Yeah, he's like, he's a complete shock. Doesn't know what
he's
to
like
do.
looking around like, what? Is anybody else hearing this kid?
So, yeah, and Danny
this guy tried to touch my dick. Ronnie, language. My language. What is it? My language is
English.
It's
yeah.
so good.
Danny meets his little, which is Augie, who's like this like LARPing nerd. But the best is there's not really much funny going on there at first. But then Wheeler and Danny meeting up after they've met their littles. I don't know what I'm going to do with this kid. Me either. I bet if I suggested a game of Quidditch, he'd come in his pants.
Yeah, was it? I bet you're not really with the ladies, are you? There.
No, hold on. Don't get there yet because I got that one. Danny is ready to skip all this and just go to jail instead, but Wheeler isn't having it because he doesn't want to get raped. And says, "Whoa, Danny, if I go to jail, I'm going to lose my job. Listen, if we go to prison, you're never going to get Beth back. We come back home after 30 days. She's banging her boss. I guarantee it. Really? She's going to be banging Patricia Feingold. Her boss is a chick." And like this smile of like he's already imagining it. Like, it's like, oh, come on. Yeah, so like Danny and Wheeler take the kids to some Chuck E. Cheese type place because they don't know what to do. Which was it? Chipmunk Charlie's? Is that what it was?
I think it was Chipmunk Charlie's. Yeah, there's like a whole like little song thing that they do, and then like immediately Ronnie starts to like shake his butt and like make it a gross derogatory thing. And then they like get Ronnie to sit down, and then Danny's just like, I don't know, I think I like Ronnie's version better. And then he just throws the sugar packets in everybody's face. And the way he does it, just like, bah, just throws it right in their face, and everybody just takes it.
So this is where Augie really comes high for me. So Danny tries to strike up a conversation with Augie. Danny's like, "So, do you like Coca-Cola?" And I like the idea of it more than I actually like it.
Yeah.
The two guys just staring at each other like, what the fuck?
What? Yeah.
And then Augie starts looking at the menu. He's like, "Oh, they got chicken fingers. I'm going to run a train on these chicken fingers. Nom, 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 nom." And then Wheeler's like, "Let me guess. You're not really rolling with the ladies at your school, are you, Augie?" "Oh, I'm really good friends with the school nurse. She's a divorcee."
And then, what was it? Is Ronnie who calls him gay or something? And he's like, "No, she's a chick. Chicks can be gay." I think they mean the other definition when he starts to give the explanation.
So then Danny agrees to join Augie at Lair. Live action interactive role playing. Why didn't they just use LARP? Why
I don't. Maybe it was already like coined. Like it was already like it's already taken.
I guess.
A lawsuit. I don't know.
And since Danny had his license suspended, Wheeler and Ronnie dropped him off. And he's like, "Pick us up in 2 hours." And Ronnie responds, "Fuck you, Miss Daisy." No way a kid Ronnie's age knows that movie, but it's just funny.
Amazing. It's an amazing line coming from his mouth.
I love like the King of Lair shows up and Augie and everyone kneels except for Danny. And Augie's like, Please, you have to kneel before the king. I beg you. And like the dramatic music swells as the king notices Danny, and Danny just like shakes his head.
No. I love too is when he's like, so how long are you guys here? And he gives like some time or something. He's like, or until you have to clear out for soccer practice.
Hey, did you see that spell of unbreakable madness I cast on those orcs? I don't think so.
Oh man! And then like later when they're like dropping Augie off, it's like, hey Danny, you want to come see my turtle? No,
I'm fine.
I'm fine. It's just like, ouch! It hurts.
See you tomorrow, Ronnie. Fuck you, Anson. Never gets old. Wait. And then Ronnie slaps Wheeler across the face and runs away.
Smacks him across the face. It's great.
Bitch.
Oh, bitch. Did we get to the orange juice part yet?
I probably skipped it because it wasn't my favorite thing, but go ahead.
Oh, I like that. So they stop. Because it's when they go to the LARPing thing. So he wants some OJ or whatever.
Yeah.
So he has a couple other funny lines.
Not from Concentrate.
Concentrate shit, right? Yeah. And he's just like, all right. And then you get the bagel dog thing, which I didn't think was very funny, and they brought that
not
back
the first
for a
time,
gag, and I don't know why. But then he comes out and he's like, all right. And then like he locks all the doors and windows and starts the car. And he's like, I got your juice, trying to convince him to open up. I don't drink juice, bitch. And the kid starts to drive the car and everything. And he's just, open the car. He's like going around in circles. Like, all that was pretty funny. And then he's yelling, cursing at him to get him to open the door. And then like as soon as you see her of Sturdy Wings comes out,
Gale.
like you just hear him like, it focuses on Gale, but then you just hear him like actually getting into the car and like there's some physical whatever. And then he's like showing like, oh, we love each other so much. And then as soon as she goes away, it's like, where's my juice? And then he just chugs it and crushes it and just throws it at his feet. I thought that was the funny back and forth between the two of them. And then he's like, fucking asshole, punk bitch. And that's the end of the scene. That was good.
So Wheeler drives Danny home, and they run into Beth finishing up packing all of her things and moving out. Yeah. And Wheeler tries to cheer him up, and it does not work. He just fails miserably. And then Wheeler's like, anyway, if she doesn't come back, I go after that friend of hers in the sweater. I know she's a few pounds overweight, but in my experience, it's the bigger ones that do way more stuff. It's a great line. I really wish the movie had Wheeler hooking up with some women who didn't look like typical playmates to bang it home that he just nails everybody.
Sure.
But like everyone he screws was like a day player on a Fox primetime show or something.
Yeah, everybody's pretty ridiculous that he hooks up, at least in the movie that you see.
Yeah, they're all like 10 to 15 pounds underweight.
Yeah, they're like models,
probably
basically.
fake tits. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I also enjoyed the car ride before that, too. It's like, this sucks. I just spent the whole day on Middle Earth. And it's like, I got carjacked. And then they start fighting.
Face.
Yeah, they start fighting each other. And then randomly they eventually stop fighting each other. And then Ronnie just jumps Augie. And they start fighting. I thought all that was pretty funny, too.
Wheeler coming by Ronnie's house to pick him up. Ready, pal? Ain't your pal, Vanilla.
Yeah.
And then so they're back at Lair again because this is all Augie really wants to do. And Danny tries talking to Augie about trying to fit in the world, take off the cape maybe.
Yeah.
And Augie's like, I like these people. And he's like, no, I know, but this isn't reality. It's not the real world. And then Augie's, I know that, but in this world, I don't have to be me. Aw. And then Danny looks, is like, well, it looks like one of your people could use a hand. And Danny points to a woman on a mobility scooter.
Yeah.
The scooter's dressed up like a horse. Yeah, she's stuck. And Augie takes a look like, oh, her I don't like.
Yeah. And I love when the king comes out. He's like, oh, yeah? And he eats at the burger hole or whatever.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, bow as your daughter does. And he's like, he's the king. He's like, yeah, or when he's not whacking it to the Sims.
Then you have Wheeler explaining Kiss to Ronnie.
Yeah.
And no, dude, these are 4 of the smartest guys that ever lived. They're these Jewish guys from New York, and they put on guitars and makeup to get girls, and all their songs are about fucking. I'm listening. Seriously, this song is called Love Gun, and it's about Paul Stanley's dick. And this girl's going to get some of his dick. Cool. I didn't know Jews could sing like that. No, they couldn't at the time. That's why they had to dress like clowns. This got them girls? Get this. They've been getting pussy nonstop for 30 years. And they're probably fucking right now. And they're old dudes. They put on makeup and it's all good. No shit. You see, Ronnie? His dick is the gun.
It's Sean William Scott's enthusiasm that just completely sells this scene.
Yeah, no. It's well, that and Ronnie being like super into it.
Yeah.
I forget what the confrontation was, but they get called into Gail's office. Maybe it was just the first check-in. I don't remember.
Yeah.
About having to get the sign in.
They're trying to get their hours signed, yeah.
Right. And she's like, don't sash me. You know what I used to have for breakfast? Cocaine. You know what I used to have for lunch? Cocaine. What'd you have for dinner? Was it cocaine?
I like what is she called? I can't remember. Oh, when she like introduces him, she it's full of shit and Dr. full of shit or something, and Danny immediately goes, "Which one of us has the PhD?"
Yeah. I'm not here to service your hours. I'm here to service these young boys. And the look on Danny's face.
Yeah.
I really wish we could just edit H. John Benjamin into movies, and so we could just have him yell out phrasing.
Yeah. So they're convinced to go on this camping trip so they can get more hours. And Danny's like not excited about it. He's like, I don't got camping. He's like complaining about lots of it. There's always this guy with an acoustic guitar doesn't know how to play, and then it cuts to exactly that. It's great.
Played by the director, David Wayne.
Yeah. No, that's not it. Kumbaya. No, that's not it. It's just so.
So Danny like finishes putting up the tent, and Ronnie immediately kicks it down and screws it up.
Yes.
And Danny isn't like, listen, I am not your big. I'll hit you. I will hit a child. I've never done that before, but I will punch you in the face.
What? Because I'm black? I did it?
No, because you did it. You did it.
And then I forget when he calls him Ben Affleck.
He calls him Daredevil, and Ben Affleck, and then he calls him Daredevil after that, and that becomes a running joke for a minute.
It's so good. And then I love eventually was like, I'm not Ben Affleck or whatever. It's like,
suck it, Reindeer Games.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah, we're suck it, Reindeer Games.
It's like, I'm not Ben Affleck, right? You're white. You're Ben Affleck.
It's true. You are white. You are white.
Yeah, I am white. Anyway, so during the camping trip, Ronnie and Wheeler have a heart to die. And Wheeler's like, you sure do like boobies, Ronnie. I sure do. Sometimes I call myself the Booby Watcher. Even got my own comic book, Adventures of the Booby Watcher. It's like, okay, I got a little theory about boobies. Really? Yeah. You see, there are as many women as there are men on this planet. True that. And every woman has 2 boobs for the most part. So therefore, there's twice as many boobs as there are men. We're outnumbered, and it's overwhelming. We're powerless, and we have to accept it. I like your take on boobies. And I like boobies. I don't know what happened to this kid. I mean, he should have been a million things. I think he's still around. He's still working, but I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Stupid Hollywood.
I agree, because you would have thought this movie did well. He clearly stole a lot of scenes that he was in. Usually when that happens, he's going to get cast in 2 or 3 more movies just because of that. Yeah. And I don't think that happened.
No, not really.
Yeah.
So at this point, Danny and Augie are, this is post-camping trip. Danny and Augie are more, unless you want to talk about the Ambien thing. I don't know if you have it.
I don't know. I did like when the girl there's a girl there that he's been hitting on the entire time that they've been at Sturdy Wings. She keeps throwing up the ring that she's engaged, and there was one funny line where Wheeler tries to hit on her, and then he's like, "Man, I can't believe this not working," or whatever, or something I
calls her a chocolate covered strawberry.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh yeah, can't believe that didn't work," from Danny or something. It was really funny line delivery, but she finally says to him like, yeah, we're outside of the area code, so
Me and my
I'm
fiance
allowed.
have a rule.
Yeah,
We're only
but she
engaged
like
in zip code or
grabs
whatever.
his junk, right? Just goes down his pants. The way he says those are my testicles or whatever is just really funny. The way he pulls it up or the way he says it. And then after that, I would say Danny's. I actually can't remember if it was Danny or Wheeler walks by the lame dude pooping in a bucket.
Danny walks by Martin pooping in a bucket.
That was another. It was like another like just great reaction moment. But
It's
after
like
that,
Martin tries to have a conversation
Yeah.
with him while he's shitting in a bucket, and like Danny just keeps on walking by. It's like,
Yeah.
Nope, not today, Satan.
there's a couple other ones that I would say. There was one where they break off into groups, and you have a crazy small role from what's his name from
Keegan-Michael
Peele.
Key,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, we're gonna make s'mores using white chocolate, and the lame guy's like, I don't know if I agree with that.
The
So
voice
funny.
that Keegan uses is out of this world.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I've
It's
never
very
heard him
weird.
use that voice before.
Yeah, or since really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also like when the ghost stories thing and they ask Danny to tell a ghost story. He's like, all right, here's the scary true story of underground sex trafficking. He's like, okay, we're going to stop you there. And then I guess I would say after that, Ronnie's reaction to when he finally sees boobs was pretty funny. Yeah.
Anyway, so post camping trip, Danny and Augie are starting to bond.
Yeah, because he kind of
And-
comes clean to him. Like, he doesn't want to be there either. His guidance counselor signed him up. It's
Right.
like neither of them want to be there kind of deal.
And so they're starting to bond, hang out more. And Danny calls Beth to try to reconnect, but gets her voicemail. And Augie is overhearing and trying to suggest romantic lines. He finally gets Danny to say he misses her and her whispering eye. And at the end, Danny's in
vagina.
shock. Yeah.
It means vagina. It's probably his greatest part.
He's like, he's trying to laugh, but he's also like in complete shock that it worked.
Yeah.
It's so great.
I love to is get your whispering eye in the cab.
So Wheeler goes to this party where he meets like a hot chick waiting in line for the bathroom,
Yeah.
and he ditches Ronnie to go sleep with her. And it turns out she's an elementary school teacher. And he's like, that's so funny because I think elementary school is hot.
Yeah, somehow that works.
What? Let's see.
I enjoyed the one of the montages when him and Ronnie are getting along and Ronnie's got all his friends to ask Wheeler questions.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty funny. So like they they're asking was like, when is it okay to like touch boobs or whatever? And it's like, good question. But then like they start to ask like, do you ever contemplate the loneliness of your life? And then like another kid's like, what about crabs? And it's like, God
I don't
damn it,
have
Ronnie,
crabs.
what are you telling these kids? You got
have crabs.
crabs.
So Danny accidentally gets Augie kicked out of Lair for defending him when the king called him a liar. And he goes over to Augie's house to apologize and gets roped into having dinner with his mom and I guess stepdad.
Yeah, the stepdad.
And
yeah.
the mom and the stepdad just rag on Augie the whole time, especially
Yeah.
Jim. And he's like, when I was his age, I had 4 to 5 girlfriends at a time. Didn't I tell you that? He was fucking his cousin. I wasn't
I
fucking
was
my
fucking
cousin.
my cousin.
We kissed because I didn't know she was my cousin. But when I found out, I stopped kissing her. But I fucked her friends. I fucked my cousin's friends.
This is a great like reminiscent of like Party Down almost. In that
Ken
moment. It's
Marino
funny.
is a goddamn national treasure.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
the way he can be both like super stupid nerd and also like jockish bully
Right.
or anything, like it's no problem. He can just slide into either character. He's so funny.
I agree, and it's and I didn't find the bagel dog thing funny earlier, but when they brought it back at the end, he
When
almost
Ken's there,
got
yeah.
me to have a reaction because it's
Oh, he
his
got me.
reaction,
Yeah.
to the bagel dog that ended up being funny, but not earlier. But yeah,
No, not the first time. It was just Jane Lynch doing it, but
Yeah.
once the two of them like having fun with it together, that makes it really, really funny. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen the movie, it's just Jane Lynch pushing a hot dog outside of a pastry wrap, and Ken just pushing
What does
it
that
back
look
in.
like? Yeah.
So Wheeler and Danny are getting kicked out of the program. Wheeler gets in trouble for ditching Ronnie at that party, and Danny for blowing up on Augie's parents.
Yeah.
And Gail is not happy. And she's
Although
like,
we
you know
skipped
what?
some stuff I liked, but okay.
I could be back in New York doing cocaine in the village, but I'm not. You know why? Kids come first. All right, you do whatever you want. I got them back in the office with Beth.
So after the whispering eye thing with the cab, he does go to meet her for coffee to talk, kind of deal, to try to convince her to get back with him.
Have that.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty funny. And then he just starts doing lines from like classic rom-com type movies.
Yeah.
And it's just, and then Beth starts calling him out on each one that he does. And then eventually he just goes, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. And he just kind of owns up to it. And then that's when she's like, you're not even taking this seriously, kind of deal, whatever, and walks out. So I thought that was pretty
If there was
fancy.
one joke that didn't age well, that was the one, considering what Paul Rudd's been up to.
Because he ends up being in Ghostbusters, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is kind of weird because this was like the rise of him being like a leading person.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, after that, I guess I don't have much. Oh, I guess there's before Danny stands up for him against the king. Danny does get killed by this dude in a Minotaur costume.
It's not a Minotaur.
Oh, it's a what do you call it? It's a half man, half horse. What do you call that?
God, I really have to hand in my nerd card.
There you go. Do it.
Centaur?
Centaur, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. But anyway, I thought it was pretty funny that like
Centaur.
he's just kind of like standing around, and then all of a sudden like this guy just
stabs him in the back.
Just stabs him in the back, but it's such like a and then he's like, oh shit, yeah, all right, you got me. Cool costume. Oh, thanks, man. Like it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of that stuff is really funny to me. And then I think I'm now at the same part.
Okay. So Danny and Wheeler are back in the Beth's office trying to figure out what to do after getting kicked out of Sturdy Wings. And Wheeler says, question, maybe a stupid one, but I'm just spitballing here. The get out of jail free card, is that based on something that exists, or that's not a stupid question? And Danny's like,
Yeah.
it's like this face. He's like, you sure about that? And it was like, it's real. It's real in the game Monopoly. Yeah, it's based on true events. How? What do you mean? Chance. And like the what the fuck look that Dan gives is just perfect.
I agree. It is pretty funny.
So then Danny, determined to make things right with Augie, puts
Well, I
on
also
the
do, by the way, was like where he continues to go at Wheeler and he's like, "Oh yeah, do you think maybe we'll roll doubles and get out?" And that's when it's like enough of the game face dude and they fight, and that's kind of when like you don't have friends anymore.
Right.
And I do love too where they start calling each other names in the elevator before they start physically fighting. And then they start using curse words, and there's like a woman and her son, and then it's like, "Hey," and they're like, "Sorry," and then he starts spelling it out. He can spell.
Danny determined to make things right with Augie, but he puts on the outfit Augie made him, and goes to the king's favorite eatery, the Burger Hole.
The Burger Hole. I can't believe you're, by the way, not gonna bring up Danny watching Oz.
It wasn't Oz.
It wasn't Oz. I thought that was Oz.
You saw violence in a prison.
I rightfully assumed that I was wrong.
No, it's not. It's Edward James Olmos's American Me.
Oh, I assumed Oz. My bad.
Yeah, I didn't quite get why that was the clip they decided to show, but
because he's going to prison now.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good point.
Yeah.
There you go. Considering Danny is not the leader of a Mexican prison gang, I think he's safe from that particular end.
Fair
Anyway, so
enough. He goes to apologize at the burger hole. Yeah.
And negotiates Augie being reinstated, and the king agrees, and then dismisses him with, "Now exit my burger hole, boy."
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, and I had a protection spell on me, which is worn off, and that's why I worked. I'd like to see him try to penetrate me again. Danny just gives another look like, and the old Danny would have immediately said something.
Right.
But he just held it in, which was really funny.
And then Wheeler apologized to Ronnie's mom, Karen, and swears he really does care for him. And he's like, "What I'm saying is, when I get out of prison, can I hang out with your 10-year-old son?"
Yeah, you'd have to ask him, but yeah, that was a really funny delivery. And then Ronnie accepts his apology, and then that's kind of it for Ronnie, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't find his stuff funny in the battle. It was just disappointing.
Well, the battle itself I didn't
it.
find particularly funny, to be honest.
That's fair.
So the guys arrive to the big, great battle.
Right. Taste the beast.
At the lair. Yeah. In the Minotaur truck. And
because they get kicked out. Ronnie or Augie gets kicked out of
right, we already
his
explained that.
thing. So now he's got to have his own one, yeah.
Well, yeah. He gets kicked out of his troop or whatever in lair.
Right.
And so he has to create his own clan, and that's why they get Wheeler and Ronnie involved. And so they became Clan Kiss My Asthia.
Yeah,
Kiss My Asthia.
Kiss My Anthea, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So they all dress up in Kiss costumes, like the original 4 members.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're in the Minotaur truck, and Joe Trulia, I forget his character name, I didn't write it down.
Yeah, oh my God, a Minotaur. Or whatever,
I can't believe my eyes, a Minotaur. And that's where they all make up along with Joel Trulia and his old clan, and it's like, we're gonna all battle together. And he's like, as they prepare for battle, Trulia's like, "Come, let's gingerly touch our tips."
Yeah, because all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, we'll be on the same side," and that's when they get betrayed.
Right. And I don't have anything really for the battle, unless my last thing is for after the battle. So
I know I would say there's a couple things almost kind of before it.
Oh, go ahead.
So I mean, I would say too, before he finds out, or when he gets the phone call that he is getting kicked out of his nation, I really liked when, like, "Oh, it's whatever, Tonius or whatever," and then Danny's like, "Oh, bid him good morrow," because he's like all into it and excited now, which was just like a really funny reaction, the way he said it and everything. And then Augie's speech, I thought was kind of funny. Like, damn, this guy gets really hyped up or whatever, right, from Wheeler. And then like, he looks like a young Marvin Hamlish, and I'd say, who the fuck is Marvin Hamlish? He wrote the music for The Sting. That's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Well, there's a couple of lines from Wheeler in the battle where he just like declares like, "Oh, that was good," or "This is," or "That was just funny," the way he delivers it. But anyway.
So that's it? Or
yeah, I mean, I didn't really find his song at the end where he tries to get her back all that funny.
No, where he does Beth, a version of Beth.
Yeah.
It's got to be a Kiss song. Yeah. So Wheeler starts talking to Gail, who shows up, and she says, "You did a really good thing tonight, Wheeler." And he's like, "Yeah, they'll probably double our prison sentences for not showing up to the hearing this afternoon." And she's like, "Well, listen, I got a long-standing relationship with this judge, and I don't want to get too graphic, but I used to suck his dick for drugs."
Now I remember it was in the song, like, "We don't have to get married, but maybe we could be like Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon," and that's when
right.
Wheeler goes, "Good actors."
So what did you give this category?
I gave it an 8.
I did too.
Okay, yeah.
Honestly, I actually lowered my score when we were talking. I was like, yeah, things really taper off around here, because I originally gave it an 8.5.
Yeah, I went 8 from the beginning. It definitely tails off. Like, it's not the strongest finish comedy wise.
Yeah, it just kind of runs out of steam. And
Yeah.
thinks that you're just gonna really find this LARP thing really funny, and I'm like, man, I just never find this stuff funny. I just kind of like, eesh.
There were moments of it that were funny, but I think they kind of got it all. So like, I felt like in the end battle, it's kind of rehashing stuff that we probably already got from the beginning, like, or the middle parts of the movie. You know, like it's a lot of like, this is pretty ridiculous, isn't it? You know, like it's just not as good humor wise at the end, and so it's got such a strong beginning and middle. So I mean, it's still pretty close to a high score though. So it's nothing too disparaging there. Yeah.
So supporting characters.
First one I have is Augie. I don't know about you.
I wrote down Elizabeth Banks just because she showed up first.
Okay, fair enough. So that's Danny's girlfriend. She's a lawyer, and she hates the same things as Danny does, but she's a little over his, depression.
Yeah, it's unfortunate she doesn't, like you said, not given much room to be funny in this movie.
Yeah.
She's playing girlfriend.
Yeah, that's basically it.
It's a big waste considering Elizabeth Banks is fucking hilarious.
She is really funny, and I'll give her, like, when she is able to argue with Danny, she has some funny lines and some funny line deliveries. She just doesn't have it. It's just not enough. There's just not much here. It's not really her movie, but she does good with what she's given.
Yeah. You never really are. You definitely take her side in the breakup.
Oh yeah,
like, this guy's a dick and he needs to get better.
Yeah,
and honestly,
and his apology was bullshit. Yeah,
Danny, I would have done whatever it takes to keep Elizabeth Banks happy. So it's very screwed up that he ever made her unhappy.
Right. So, and it made sense to see him actually care this much and risk prison, and that being the turning point for her character. Be like, okay, I'll get back with him, which is like, okay, this seems deserved. So I still like the storyline with it. Like, it still made sense.
Yeah. Christopher Mintz-Plasse plays Augie. He does a really good job. It's only his second movie.
I know. This is like pretty fresh off of Superbad, right? So
yeah, it's just appropriately dorky without being annoying about it.
Yeah. He still has a few funny moments. You know, again, I liked the Marvin Hamlish line. I liked the train on the chicken fingers. You know, there's the divorcee. Like, there's some pretty great.
But he also does
deliveries.
the heavy, like,
emotional
stuff. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, like when he legitly, like, you might not give a shit, but I give lots of shits, and he does that whole thing. Like, it's like, yeah, like this. There's some good stuff here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby J. Thompson as Ronnie almost steals the movie.
Steals the movie, without a doubt. Like, at least until, I would say, it starts to trail off when him and Ronnie...
the same time the movie does.
yeah, exactly. When him and Ronnie start to be friends with each other and really like each other, that's when it starts to tail off. Not completely at first. And so that's kind of like the bummer, but otherwise, like, yeah, it's pretty funny. You get like a little bit moment of like when they do kind of break off and like the lame dweeb guy gets partnered up as the new big for both of these kids.
Yeah, Martin.
Martin, yeah, and so there was a little bit of glimpse of funny again with Ronnie, the way he treats Martin, but that was a real short thing. So.
Yeah, I'm an absolute sucker for little kids cursing.
Yeah.
It cracks me up every time. And making this foul-mouthed kid also, like, super horny just absolutely works for me.
Yeah. And it's great how, even after all this time, the Ben Affleck stuff is still amazing. It's still good. Like, it still holds up.
I got Jane Lynch as Gail Sweeney. Just a delight in this movie.
Yeah.
Never sure what awful thing she's going to reveal about her past next, and honestly wish they had gone even crazier with it. Like, they should have elevated it more.
I just like every
crazy
time
shit she was up to.
She tries to be tough and starts trying to yell, and the nonsense that comes out of her mouth with it is always pretty funny.
And like you said, the bagel dog gag didn't work maybe the first time, but when it came back the second time, I was rolling. I was like,
the second time worked so well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like every interaction between her and the two heroes were pretty funny.
Yeah. You have Carrie Kenny and Ken Marino as Augie's mom and stepdad.
Yeah, that's what I got next too. Yep.
Carrie doesn't get much to do, but Marino knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, he helps out. I don't know if she's as allowed in the mother role to kind of do it, but I like it's like I'd be psyched.
He fucked his cousin is but the funniest thing she
gets.
Yeah,
that probably is. But then it's like Marino's like reaction to it, right? You know, like your mother's super psyched, she's your kid or whatever. Like it's it's funny.
And I wrote down Keegan-Michael Key just because of the wild voice. We're going to make some s'mores with white chocolate.
Yeah. It's such a weird, crazy small role for him. But I guess it's
early on. In his
career,
career,
it really is. Like he's not hit it yet with
no, Key and Peele has not come out. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to take it to another level. I also put, was it Ken Jeong as King Argatron and what's his name is Kuzik.
Matt Walsh. Kuzik is Joe Luchulio.
Yeah, and I guess you're talking about the dude who played the right-hand man guy.
With the hammer, yeah.
Yeah, which I guess that was
back.
I guess that was the other funny part. I guess if there was going to be another funny part in that end battle.
Oh, actually, yes, this is good. Yeah. You're right.
Where he really starts hitting the crap, and he's like, all right.
Danny starts like smacking him a lot with he's defeated him. Yeah. Walsh is like, you got me. It's over. It's like, oh, sorry, man. He's like, yeah, but it's light. It's good, right?
It's contagious, like, right? Oh, it's a blast. You know, like, all right, see you next year or whatever. Like, yeah.
We need more people. Come on back.
Yeah.
It's great. So I gave this category a 4. Everyone's great
wow,
here.
Okay. I gave it a 3.
All right. Well, look at us.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come out higher than this. I gave this movie a 15.5.
Not that much higher. Wow. But yeah, mine's at a 15.
I am going to keep this just under semi-pro. And it could go either way for me.
Wow. See, so I'm kind of around the same thing, right? Do I have it over semi-pro or below semi-pro? So you would end up having it at 2, so I could have it at 2 or 3 is kind of where I'm at.
Right, because you have Tropic Thunder decidedly above.
Yes. I love Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I think I have seen this movie more than semi-pro.
Right.
So I think I'm putting it over semi-pro.
Yeah, it's semi-pro just consistently made me laugh more. Where this movie has better character work and everything.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But semi-pro just made me laugh more.
I don't know.
It doesn't have a down part.
I think because I have such a history of laughing with this movie for so much longer, that's why I'm putting it over. Let me type that in.
You're a jive turkey. So, miscellaneous. So, Louis C.K. as the high school security guard or cop that gets the Minotaur.
Yeah, he has a longer role in the unrated version.
That cameo went from aging well to not so much over the course of 16 years.
Yeah, especially when he's like calling him like a derogatory gay stuff too.
Oh, it's not in the theatrical cut. He doesn't get anything to say.
Yeah.
Tim, are you eating a bagel dog anytime soon?
No.
Oh, all right. Roger Ebert loved this movie.
Yeah.
He says role models is the kind of movie you just don't see every day. A comedy that is funny.
Wow. Wow.
That was his opening line of the review.
Wow.
My other favorite thing he says in here, I don't know why, but I've always found it pleasing to hear a pretty middle-aged woman saying, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. It's a really weird review. So the more you read Roger Ebert reviews, especially late 90s and on,
yeah,
you can tell he's just watching so many movies at the same time that his facts get all mixed up and confused. So it's really funny to read this because he totally goes off the rails at the end, like misattributing like what characters do what and everything, what they say.
Oh, weird.
It's really funny.
Wow.
He's not, he's still got a few more years left in him, but yeah, he's definitely closer to the end.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Budget of $28 million and grossed worldwide a little over $92.6 million. Debuted at number 2, losing to Madagascar, escaped to Africa, and it beat out Soul Men, which also debuted this weekend.
Fair.
And that's all I got.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah.
New top 3, but it's almost just opposite because we both now have Role Models 2. You have Semi Pro 1. I have Tropic Thunder 1. And then I have Semi Pro 3, and you have Tropic Thunder 3.
Yep.
And then we both have Burn Rafter Reading 4.
Yeah.
So look at us.
So what are we watching next week, Tim?
All right. We had like 2 good movies in a row, so I feel like I have to be the one to bring us back down.
Rather you than me.
Yeah, of course, because then you get to mock me for bringing the bad when somebody had to do it.
I do enjoy making fun of you. It's true.
Yeah, you do. I'm like oddly really fearful of Smart People in Strange Wilderness, so I'm not ready to go that way, even though I think this one's going to be pretty bad, but I'm going to go with College.
Oh, fuck. This is the one I'm scared of the most.
That's why I kind of, you know what? If I'm going to have to pick something bad, might as well torture you. Even though you're gonna hate me on next week when we record, but you know, oh well.
I like. Oh no. Well,
get ready for like stereotypical things that you've probably seen a variation of 1,000 times. That's just not gonna land. Is what I'm expecting.
I think I saw a list where there's like this is one of the worst movies of 2008.
Ugh.
Guess what the Rotten Tomatoes score is? And Rotten Tomatoes is bullshit and whatever. But
6?
5?
Wow, I was close.
You were.
Dang.
Yeah, single digits.
Dang. Oh, maybe I made a mistake. I should have went with Harold and Kumar. Oh well, too late now.
Yeah, well, let's rip this Band-Aid off.
Yeah, let's just get out of the way, right? Let's not have it towards the end. We got some bad ones. We gotta again. It's like
I think that's the worst one left on the list.
Well,
I think it's the worst one we'll review this year.
I'm not excited about Harold and Kumar, Strange Wilderness, or Smart People.
I am curious about Strange Wilderness.
All right. But yeah, then we still got Zack and Miri and Step Brothers and In Bruges and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So we still got some great ones left.
Yep.
All right, man. Sounds good. That is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, where you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bro Champ Show podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Now exit my burger hole, boy.